Let me start with something that sounds safe, responsible, and very American. I'm saving money. That sentence alone makes people feel proud. Your parents smile. Your friends nod. Your bank sends you a cheerful little email saying, "Great job," and for a moment, you feel like you're winning at life. You imagine yourself in 5, 10, 20 years, secure, stress-free, maybe sitting on a porch somewhere with a coffee, thinking, "Good thing I saved." But here's the uncomfortable truth that no one explains clearly when you open that savings account. You can do everything right, save consistently, avoid dumb purchases, skip vacations, bring lunch from home, and still slowly fall behind. Not because you're bad with money, not because you didn't work hard, but because of how the system actually works in America. Think about this. In the US, from the moment you get your first paycheck, you're taught one main rule: spend less than you earn and put the rest in the bank. That advice worked decades ago, back when interest rates were high, houses were affordable, and inflation didn't quietly eat your money every single year. Today, that same advice is outdated. Most Americans still save money the same way their parents did, even though the rules have completely changed. Let me tell you a very normal story. Meet Jake. Jake is not irresponsible. Jake works a 9 to 5, makes decent money, doesn't blow his paycheck at bars every weekend. Jake opened a savings account because that's what responsible adults do. Every month, Jake puts money into it. Sometimes $200, sometimes $500. Sometimes more when he feels proud of himself. Jake feels safe. Jake feels disciplined. Meanwhile, inflation is quietly doing push-ups in the corner. In America, inflation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send you a warning text. It just slowly raises prices. Groceries cost a little more. Rent goes up. Gas creeps higher. Insurance renewals suddenly feel personal. And your savings account? It just sits there, earning interest that doesn't even keep up. Here's the part nobody jokes about at family dinners. If your savings earns 0.5% and inflation is 3%, 4%, or sometimes more, you're not preserving money. You're losing purchasing power every year. Your dollars stay the same, but what they can buy shrinks. That means Jake can save more money on paper and still afford less life. And Jake doesn't notice right away. No one does. That's why this mistake is so common in America. It feels harmless. It feels smart. It feels safe. But it's not neutral. It's quietly expensive. Now here's where it gets interesting. America is not designed for savers. It's designed for investors and disciplined borrowers. The system rewards people who understand how money moves, not people who hide it. Banks love savers because savings are cheap money for them. They take your deposits and lend them out at much higher rates. You get crumbs, they get the cake, and they do it legally, happily, and with a smile. And look, before anyone gets defensive. Yes, savings are important. Emergency funds matter. Having cash for unexpected problems is necessary. But what most Americans do is stop there. They think saving is the finish line, when it's actually just the starting line. Now let's be honest for a second. Most people don't save because they love math. They save because they're scared. Scared of being broke. Scared of emergencies. Scared of the future. And fear makes us choose what feels safest in the moment, not what works best long-term. That's normal. That's human. But here's where the story takes a turn. Around the 30-second mark of this realization, most people either lean in or get uncomfortable. And if you're still listening, congratulations, you're already doing better than most. Let's talk about how Americans treat savings accounts like emotional support animals. Bad day at work, check your savings app. Feeling stressed, check your balance. Feeling responsible, screenshot it. That savings account becomes your emotional safety blanket. You don't want to touch it. You don't want to question it. You definitely don't want anyone telling you it might not be enough. And then there's the bank app notification. You earned $1.42 in interest this month. Wow, incredible. Life-changing. Don't spend it all in one place. Meanwhile, Netflix raises its price again. The funny part, Americans will drive across town to save 5 cents on gas but won't question losing thousands over time to inflation. We argue about coffee prices but ignore the silent tax happening every year. Now here's the basic fact most people miss. In the US, money that doesn't grow effectively is falling behind. Period. That's not opinion, that's math. This is why you hear stories that sound confusing at first. People making six figures but still stressed. Retirees with a lot saved but scared to spend. Younger workers doing everything right and still feeling stuck. They saved. They just saved wrong. America doesn't reward money sitting still. It rewards money that's working, and that idea alone makes people uncomfortable because it sounds risky. But what if I told you doing nothing with your money isn't safe either? It just feels that way because it's familiar, and here's the punchline. The same country that tells you to save also makes everything more expensive over time. Housing, healthcare, education, food. So if your money isn't growing at least as fast as costs, you're running on a treadmill that slowly speeds up. You don't fall off immediately, you just get tired. And Jake eventually notices something feels off. His savings balance is higher than ever, but his lifestyle feels tighter. Saving more but stressing more. That's when the question finally hits him. If I'm doing everything right, why does this still feel hard? Because the moment you ask that question, you're ready for the truth that most people never hear. So Jake is sitting there, staring at his savings balance, feeling proud and frustrated at the same time. That feeling is more American than apple pie. Because in this country, you're told that discipline equals security. Save more. Spend less, don't mess up. But nobody tells you that discipline without strategy just creates tired people with nice spreadsheets. Here's the thing Jake starts to realize. Saving money protects you from yesterday's problems. Investing prepares you for tomorrow's reality. And America's tomorrow is not getting cheaper. Now before anyone panics, let's slow down. This isn't about turning everyone into a Wall Street wizard or yelling stocks at strangers. It's about understanding the basic rules of the game you're already playing, whether you like it or not. In the US, inflation is not an accident. It's built into the system. The economy is designed to grow. Prices rise. Wages try to catch up. Assets appreciate. Cash loses value. Over time. That's not a conspiracy. That's economics. So when Americans put all their long-term money into savings accounts, they're choosing the least competitive player on the field and hoping for a miracle. And miracles are not a financial strategy. Here's where the story gets funny again. Most Americans are terrified of investing but totally comfortable losing money slowly. We're afraid of market dips, but okay with guaranteed decline. We say, I don't want to risk my money, while inflation says, cool, I'll take it anyway. And let's be honest, part of the fear comes from how investing is talked about. People make it sound complicated on purpose. Charts, jargon, panic headlines, dramatic news music like the stock market personally attacked someone. So Jake does what most people do. He avoids it. He tells himself he'll learn later, after he saves more, after life calms down, after he feels ready. But ready never shows up with a calendar invite. Now, let's talk about the basic American reality. The average American doesn't get rich from saving alone. Wealth in this country historically comes from ownership. Owning businesses, owning stocks, owning real estate, owning something that grows as the economy grows. That's why you hear phrases like the market over the long term and compound growth. Not because it's sexy, but because it works. Compound growth is boring. It doesn't make good movies. No explosions, no dramatic music, just slow, quiet progress, which is exactly why it works for people who stick with it. And here's the joke. Americans love fast food, fast shipping, fast Wi-Fi, fast results, but the money system rewards slow behavior. Consistency, patience, time. It's like the universe is trolling us. Jake eventually learns that the goal isn't to stop saving. The goal is to stop saving incorrectly. Emergency money stays liquid, long-term money needs a job. Money without a job gets lazy. And when money gets lazy in America, inflation bullies it. Now imagine Jake finally changes his approach. He still saves, but only what he actually needs for safety. The rest, he lets it work, automatically, boringly, month after month. No daily checking, no panic, no emotional roller coaster. And guess what happens? For the first time, Jake feels calmer. Not richer overnight, just calmer. Because his money is finally moving in the same direction as the economy instead of fighting it. And this is where most people miss the punchline. Wealth isn't built by dramatic decisions. It's built by unexciting systems repeated for a long time. Americans who win with money aren't smarter. They're just more consistent and less emotional. They don't ask, how do I save more? They ask, how do I make my money work? And once you understand that, the fear shifts. Saving feels safe, but growth feels powerful. Now let's end with something that actually matters. The goal isn't to never enjoy life. The goal isn't to become obsessed with numbers. The goal isn't to judge people who save differently. The goal is freedom. Freedom from stress. Freedom from feeling behind. Freedom from watching prices rise while your confidence drops. Saving money isn't wrong. Saving money without a plan is. And the moment you realize that, you stop asking, how much should I save? And start asking, how much should I save? What is my money doing while I sleep? What is my money doing while I sleep? Because in America, the quiet truth is this: money that works for you gives you options. Money that sits still just watches time pass. And once you see that difference, you can see it. That's when saving stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like strategy. And honestly, that's the part most people never get to.